Welcome to yet another Divi tutorial by the Divi Engine team. You know me, this is Roby, and I'm excited to get into the topic today, which is adding a custom post type using no plugins, just a little bit of code. And don't worry if the word coding is akin to cream spinach in your mind. We'll do another tutorial here real soon that will show you some easier ways to add them. Now, if you don't know what custom post types are, go check out our post that is linked in the description of this video that does a little bit of a deep dive onto custom post types and custom fields. But for now, here comes the elevator pitch. WordPress has a bunch of post types included that you may recognize, such as the obvious one, posts. Then you get other things like pages, projects, and more. Now, when you need a collection of data with the same fields and format to be replicated throughout your site, think maybe team members or recipes, for example, you can definitely go and design a static page and add all the information right on there, but that's not very efficient. A better way to do this would be to create a custom post type called, let's say, recipes, where you'll create a new recipe post for each recipe in our example. You might have added a custom post type before without even realizing it if you've installed WooCommerce. After activating the WooCommerce plugin, you'll see that it adds products to your dashboard. And that, my friends, is also a custom post type. So now that we know what custom post types are, let's show you how to add one to your Divi site without using any plugins. Let's go. Alrighty, so let's get going. So I'm going to start here in the back end of my Divi install. And if you look here in the left-hand column, you'll see those default post types that are included with Divi. The posts, media is actually also a post type, pages, comments, projects, and no custom ones yet. But we do have the WooCommerce ones here that were added by installing the WooCommerce plugin. So I wanted to show that to you. You've got your products, post type, here. So it's a really great example of extending WordPress functionality or Divi functionality by adding some post types. Now, we are not going to code this from our mind because there's a tool out there and you know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we're going to be using this tool here by MetaBox, which is a custom post type generator. We're going to link it in the description of this video, so don't worry about remembering that right now. You can just click that link and you can follow along as we do this. Now, I used that example of recipes earlier. So that's the post type that we're going to be adding. So you'll see that you need a few things here. We're going to start on the general tab. So we're going to be adding the plural name. So that's going to be recipes. And then singular name is recipe. And you can see how that kind of makes sense. Now, next up, they want to know the function name. So it says here, your prefix underscore register post type. We will just say here, recipes register post type. And then here where it says text domain, we're just going to delete that out. And what that's for is just to make it compatible with translation plugins, so it's easy to translate. But we're not going to worry about that for this tutorial. So next up, we want to know what things are going to be called. That's the label section here. So we want to say that in the menu name. So on the left-hand side, you have our dashboard. WooCommerce says here it's products here. We want to add recipes in here somewhere. So we'll go back here. We're going to say, yep, recipes looks good. In the admin bar, all items, add new. So you can change these things if you want to. This is just the labeling that will be used within the admin area of the plugin. So up to you what you want to do there. Next, we'll go to advanced. We can put a short description. This is our collection of recipes. There you go. And then we can just check here, but everything by default here should be okay. Now you can say show in menu. And then you can say show as a top level item. Yeah, top level would be good. You can put it as sub menus of existing menu items, but this is going to be its own thing. So we're just going to say show as top level menu. And then do you want it in the admin bar? That's that bar that's at the top here. Do you want it in here when you say new? Yeah, we think that's a good idea. So we'll leave that in there. And show an admin bar. Do we want to enable the REST API? We're going to say no to that one. And then we're going to go down a bit here. And now we decide what menu position do we want this in. It can be menu position after. So after the dashboard posts or whatever, I think it makes sense to put it right there after posts. And it also even lets you select an icon. So the icon I like is this clipboard. I'm going to click that button and then we'll go down. Compatibility type. This is going to be a post because we're going to have a lot of things following the same format. And it's going to have an archive page. That's all fine. And the rest of it looks good. So let's go back to the top. Now we're going to go to the supports area. Now this is basically the built-in features of WordPress that we want to use. It's going to have a title. It'll have an editor. If you want each person submitting a recipe to submit their author details, you can do that. We are not worried about that. We're going to add custom fields here because maybe we want to add things like cooking time, ingredients. Those might be all really good custom fields to use. We want our users to be able to comment on our recipes. We're going to keep the revisions in case we make a mistake and we want to go back. And we'll add the page attributes also. And that is it. So going to taxonomies. Lastly, let's add categories and tags because you might want to categorize something as beef or chicken recipes or vegetarian recipes. And then the tags might be different types of ingredients that you might use, or maybe it's, is it cooked in the oven or whatnot. And with that, we can just generate the code. And we scroll down and you'll see it spit out a whole bunch of stuff here. But it's very easy to understand. Here, we're just registering our function that is adding the recipes post type, custom post type. Firstly, labels. Of course, these are all the labels. So this is the text in the back end. Then we're going through different features such as, does it have an archive page? Is it public? Does it have a UI? All that stuff. And then all the supports things, it's all those default WordPress features that whether we want to support it or not. Then it adds the taxonomy and then we're good to go. So all we need to do here is copy our code and then we're going to jump in to the backend of our Divi install to add the custom post type to the functions.php file. So we're going to check that out in the next step. Okay, so we're going to add the code now, and for that, we need to get to the backend of our Divi site. And here I am in my dashboard. Now, there's a few different ways that you can go and add the code to your Divi site, depending on the privileges you have and how comfortable you are with things like FTP and editing scary functions.php files. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Appearance. And then if you have the correct privileges, you'll see Theme File Editor at the bottom there. You click that, and then you'll see a bunch of stuff pop up with your child theme. Now, if you don't know what a child theme is, that's very important with Divi especially. Child themes allow you to retain settings for your Divi site when updates happen, and it allows you to extend functionality of your Divi websites. Now, if you're not using a child theme yet, what we're going to do is link another post in the description of this video that actually has a download to a child theme for you to use, as well as just an explanation of what's going on in there. But we're going to continue in here. Now, you know that I mentioned there's a few different ways you can access the files depending on how comfortable you are. The other way would be is to FTP into your WordPress site if you don't have this theme file editor option down here, and opening and editing the functions.php file, which is this one right here. Now, if you're not using a child theme, this is going to look a lot more busy. So best to stay away and utilize that child theme. So let's continue. I still have that custom post type code copied to my clipboard. I am going to put a comment in here that says recipe custom post type. And the reason I do this is just to keep stuff nice and organized for if I later start adding more custom post types, or maybe I'm adding some more functionality to my WordPress site here. Okay, so with that code still on my clipboard, I'm going to go ahead and paste it right over here. And then all we need to do is go ahead and update the file. And whoops, okay, so there's an error in the file. And I think I know what it is. If I look over here, we see that it's got an opening PHP bracket, not a closing one on the bottom. I think we need to delete that opening PHP bracket because if we look here at our functions.php file in our child theme, you see that it already has one. So right up here, just that first line of the code that we copied, delete that out, and let's go ahead and update. File updated successfully. Let's refresh our page. And there we have it. There's recipes right there. We have it added to the backend of our Divi site. We just added our custom post type. How awesome is that? That was so easy, actually. Minus that one little snafu. But you can see how you can use a nice generator like this to very easily go ahead and add maybe team members or anything you want. It could be really classified. It could be really a ton of different stuff that you can do. Very easy to do. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at how all of this works once it's in here. So all I need to do is go to recipes. If I click all recipes, of course it will say, remember those labels that we did earlier? No recipes found. So let's add one. So let's add a recipe. And there we have it. It says add new recipe. We can say beefcake because we love beefcake. And you can add text in here. We can just say this is an awesome recipe. We can go down on the right hand side here. You can add your different categories. We'll add beef as a category. Bam. And there are the post attributes to order. You can set a featured image. Now I've already got one in here. I'm going to set my featured image. That's in there now. And now I can go ahead and publish this. And when we go back here now to all recipes, we've got beefcake in the menu. How awesome is that? So easy to do. But I want to show you guys one more thing before we go. I'm going to show you how to add your own custom fields to this. Now that is a great way to extend any type of custom post type you make. So let's edit this beefcake. And that sounds kind of weird, but let's continue. Here it says add new custom field. Let's say time to cook. And we add a value of, this is really good beefcake. It's going to take 45 minutes. And that really is it. Now I can go ahead and update. And when we scroll down, we've got time to cook 45 minutes. How fantastic is that? That's so easy to do. Now, because I added this custom field in here, if I add a new recipe, and I'm not going to put in the rest of the fields, but if I come down here, I can go select time to cook, and now I can say 20 minutes for this other recipe, and it's in there. So these custom fields will be available for you to use throughout the rest of your recipes. That is good stuff, and it's amazing, and it will extend your websites and give your clients that bespoke feeling to have their own custom post types in the back end of their Divi websites. Very cool stuff. Okay, now I just wanted to add a word on displaying your newly created custom post type. This is our recipe, so we're going to want to display this on the front end of our site, right? Now, that's a little bit out of the scope of this tutorial, but I'm going to give you guys a little tip.
Okay, whoa. Guys, I forgot to mention something in here, and I only realized that once I finished the video. I'm going to show you that Divi actually natively lets you also create templates for your custom post type, so for our recipes. So let's take a look at how we do that. All you got to do is go here to Divi and then the theme builder. Now in here, this is where we create templates for everything, right? If we're doing a product page or a shop page, whatever. So we're going to add a new template here. We're going to scroll down, and these are all different post types, products, projects, and our recipes. So let's quickly create a page for our recipe. Now we just selected there and create. Now you saw that you can also do a template for the archive page, which will list all your recipes. So that's another thing you can do. But let's walk through this one really quickly. Now, if you wanted a custom header or a custom footer here, you can do that, but we're just going to add a custom body and say build body. Great. Now, all we need to do is add a section or a row, and you can select any type of layout for the row. We will select the double one because here on the left-hand side, we'll put the post title, and you can just type in post, and here you'll see all the post related modules. So post title, And as far as the elements go, you can select to show the title, the meta, the author, the date, and all that fun stuff. We'll leave that as is right now. And of course, you can also style the text there. We'll leave it like that. And now what we're going to do is we need to add the content for this post, right? Because we only have the title there. So we just type post again and add the post content module. Same thing. You can come in here, you can change backgrounds, you can change the design and all that fun stuff. This is just educational for you. Just want to show you that it is possible. And then lastly, what about that custom field for time to cook? I want to add that too. So all we do is we can go here and I'm going to add one text module. And then I'm just going to title it time to cook. There we go. And that's just normal text, but we're going to add one more text module here. And this is where the magic happens. And we're going to use those dynamic fields in Divi. You're learning stuff every single day. So you just, oh, that was maybe a bit quick. You just click this dynamic field icon here. And I am going to go down to custom fields and time to cook is right there. So I just put that in there. I'm going to go check that and save. I'm going to save this template for our recipes. And then we'll close this. And then very importantly, you have to save your changes here. Otherwise it will not work. So if I go now to my recipes up here, I go all recipes and I want to check out beefcake. We can just click the permalink and there you have it. We've got a time to cook, 45 minutes. We've got that image for the featured image. We've got the title. We've got who created it. And then the content. Super easy to do. Now, I know this doesn't look great, but you can obviously go ahead and style this until it looks perfectly for the context of your site. So yeah, sorry for forgetting that, but there you have it. Build your custom post type layouts with the Divi Theme Builder.
Now, there are various files that you'll find within your Divi install. One of them is going to be called single.php. Now, that is to display the default custom post type. Now, what you need to do for the actual custom post types, like the one we added here, you're going to need to add something like single-recipes to display single recipes on the page. Now, to display all of your recipes on a page so the users can click on them and go through to the single view, you're going to need to create a template file for that too. That is going to need to be called something like archive-recipes.php. And the great thing about these two is that you'll find examples of this code in your Divi install. If you go to the actual Divi files, you open up single.php, and you open up archive.php, you can copy that code and paste it into the new files. We'll add a little bit about this in the blog post so that you're not too confused with this without having the visual reference. But we just wanted to let you guys know that you can display these on the front end and that it's not super hard to do it with a little bit of additional code that you can just copy and paste. So there's that. And bam, guys, just like that, that is adding a custom post type to your Divi install without a plugin by just adding a little bit of code using a generator of all things. So there's really not too much to do here. You just need to plan out your post type accordingly and then go ahead, use that generator and put the code in there. So guys, I hope this was informative for you. We're gonna continue with this custom post type in Divi series and theme for the next few blog posts. So definitely subscribe and check it out so you don't miss anything that's coming up. We're gonna show you how to add more custom fields. We're gonna use the ACF plugin. We're gonna show you adding custom post types with an actual plugin, and then also our plugin, Divi Machine, which is another way that you can do this that's just simpler and easier. Anyway, guys, this was Roby from the Divi Engine team. I really enjoyed presenting this to you guys. I'll definitely catch you in the next installment.